Costa Rica is one of our favorite places in Latin America. There are lush rainforests, pristine beaches, and a diversity of wildlife in this beautiful and diverse land. Its people are kind, carefree, and educated, and its policies are heavily oriented toward sustainability. But perhaps one of the most remarkable aspects of this Central American nation is its golden grain, coffee. The coffee industry has been a cornerstone of this country for centuries. Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel so that we can continue to create more content about the beauty of Latin America. Since the early 19th century, coffee has been an integral part of Costa Rican culture and economy. Today, the Latin American country is a major player in global coffee trade, known for its high-quality, Arabica beans and environmentally friendly farming practices. Most of Costa Rica's coffee plantations are nestled in volcanic mountains, whose fertile soil and temperate climate provide the best growing conditions. To ensure that only ripe coffee cherries are selected for the beans, coffee beans are harvested by hand. As a side note, coffee fruits are edible, and their flavor is described as rather lovely and sweet. As soon as the coffee beans are picked, they are processed and roasted to perfection, resulting in a smooth and rich flavor profile that is highly sought after by coffee connoisseurs. However, Costa Rican coffee is truly distinguished by its emphasis on sustainability and ethical practices. Almost all plantations in the country are certified organic or shade-grown, meaning the crops are grown in harmony with the environment. Their growth does not create a destructive monoculture that harms the environment, but rather contributes to and even enhances it. Shade-grown coffee is grown under a canopy of trees, which provides natural shade and habitat for wildlife, reducing the need for artificial fertilizers and pesticides. Prior to the introduction of coffee to Costa Rica, the locals relied on subsistence farming. For them, money and trade were foreign concepts. Their only goal was to produce what they needed. Coffee, however, brought about a drastic change in their mentality. During the 1800s, a Spanish priest named Felix Valverde introduced the novel plant to Costa Rica, which was, at the time, one of the Spanish provinces. After convincing farmers to plant the crop, he established his own plantation in the capital province of San Jose. Currently, the Central Valley is considered to be one of the best places to grow coffee. Massive growing operations were later established on big estates near San Jose and Cartago, which also assisted in transporting products to markets. Costa Rica's remaining land didn't experience much agricultural activity until the middle of the century when new coffee markets opened up as demand grew worldwide. Following Costa Rica's independence in 1821, the new government introduced policies that boosted the coffee industry, aiding Costa Rica in becoming the first Central American country to develop its coffee industry. With the cooperation of authorities and forward-thinking leaders such as Mariano Montealegre, Juan Mora Fernandez, and Braulio Carrillo, the government offered considerable assistance to the coffee sector, including free trade agreements with other nations and the distribution of free coffee plants. Lands were set aside for the sole purpose of producing coffee, and farmers were given subsidies and coffee plants. In the year 1840, a ship carrying a substantial amount of coffee departed Costa Rica, to later arrive in London. As a result, there was rapid economic, cultural, and social development, which was further bolstered by the construction of a road between San Jose and Punta, as well as the connection of the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans via railway. Additionally, it made it possible to establish hospitals, postal services, and educational facilities, such as the first state university of the country in 1843. Initially, Costa Rica's economy and exports were based solely on coffee, but its quality and abundance led to significant growth. Since coffee has become such an economic and cultural miracle, it has been called the golden grain. The Ticos were such coffee lovers that you could obtain legal possession of an empty plot of land if you planted coffee and cultivated it for 5 years. It is the climate that promotes such high levels of coffee production, with moderate rains for flowering and abundant rains for growth and fruit production, followed by a dry season that facilitates harvesting. Generally, the coffee harvest season runs from November to March, with some minor fluctuations in some regions. In Costa Rica, coffee is grown in 8 regions: Turrialba, Orosi, Tres Rios, Tarazu, Brunca, Guanacaste, and the central and occidental valleys. These areas possess fertile volcanic soils with low acidity. Among the most common Arabica cultivars are Caturra and Cachuai, which are high-quality grains. Fast forward to more recent times, when coffee exports catapulted the country into economic success and stability as an outlier in a region marked by regime upheavals and violence. Costa Rica has become well known for its tasty and fragrant coffee. In order to ensure that only the best coffee beans reach your cup, strict regulations and traditions regulate the variety of coffee plants planted, their cultivation, and how the cherries are harvested and processed. For generations, Costa Rican farmers, businessmen, and government officials have developed and optimized coffee farming and processing while maintaining the recognition and image of hard work and attention. There were several significant improvements in the industry during the 1900s, including moving away from the use of ox carts, introducing the beneficiado system, which allowed farmers to pool their harvests and cut processing and shipping costs, as well as choosing the Caturra and Cachuai strains of Arabica coffee for superior quality. In 1933, Costa Rica's coffee industry experienced a watershed moment with the establishment of the National Coffee Institute, ICOF. Aside from overseeing and standardizing coffee operations throughout the country, the ICOF also ensures fair and sustainable methods of production, fair salaries, and fair prices. ICOF promotes Costa Rican coffee internationally and invests in research and development to combat diseases, improve practices, and advance agricultural and industrial coffee technology. Every bag of Costa Rican coffee that leaves the country is traceable and of high quality thanks to the ICOF, which supports the country's coffee supply chain from producers to roasters to exporters. It also ensures that the coffee you purchase is ethically cultivated, processed, and roasted according to the high agricultural and industrial standards that have made Costa Rica's coffee brand one of the best in the world. As you sip your favorite coffee, learn not just where your beans come from but also how they leave their origin. Costa Ricans cherish and enjoy coffee as a deeply ingrained fixture in kitchens, celebrations, and social activities. But ethics and sustainably produced products are also of utmost importance in this country. You can therefore be sure that any coffee you purchase from there was produced sustainably and ethically. The Costa Rican government declared coffee as a national symbol in 2020, stating that the 200-year-old industry and crop contribute greatly to national pride, heritage, and history. It is well known that Costa Rica has stunning beaches, lush jungles, and a remarkable biodiversity, but the golden grain has played an important role in its history and culture as well. Throughout history, coffee has thrived, and it continues to do so. To learn more about Costa Rica, click the video on the left and subscribe to our channel to help us become a leading channel on everything about Latin America.